In this video, we are going to talk about Mars transit into the sign of Capricorn on 22nd of March 2020 for all 12 ascendants and moon signs. So keep watching. Namaste and welcome to Brahmanic Astrology channel. I'm your host Prasad Mahasani. Mars transits into the sign of Capricorn. This video will be a bit longer, and the first part will be we'll talk about the Mars, then we'll talk about the sign of Capricorn. And if you are aware of these significations and if you want to skip this part, just go to the comment section where I will put the timestamps and you can jump to your sign straight away. Mars into the sign of Capricorn. Mars, what is Mars? The first thing which comes to my mind when I think of Mars is the strength. Mars is the masculinity, is strength, is vigor, is blood, aggression, competition, enterprising abilities, initiating things, discipline, a warrior, and literal blood can also be seen with Mars. Mars is also the karaka for your siblings. Mars is your courage, bravery, and all those masculine qualities. What is the sign of Capricorn? The sign of Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. By the way, Mars gets exalted into the sign of Saturn. We'll talk about that once we complete the sign of Capricorn. Capricorn is a sign ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the planet of discipline, planet of delay, is the planet of longevity, is the planet of time, delay, analytical skills, and anything to do with the critical analysis. Intelligence and critical analysis coupled with the disciplined continuous actions is what Saturn is. And Saturn is practical. Saturn is hardworking. Saturn is stubborn. All these qualities can be seen in the sign of Capricorn. The sign of Capricorn is one of the cardinal signs. Cardinal signs are 1, 4, 7, 10, and these are the signs which starts things, which brings in things, which initiates things. We always talk about the thought of Aries initiated into the first, gets the emotional stability into the fourth, is connected with the others into the seventh, and gets the highest manifestation into the 10th house. Next, the sign of Capricorn is also one of the Artha Trikona sign. We have 12 signs and 4 elements: Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. All your actions can be in one of these elements, cannot be beyond this. This is super important. Okay, so the sign of Capricorn comes into the Artha element sign. So it resonates with the 10th house of the horoscope, which is all about career, work area, or doing something to earn, doing something to manifest your highest material achievements. That's what Capricorn is. Capricorn is hardworking, stubborn, is practical, and it has all those Saturnian qualities with respect to the discipline and hard work. Now, Mars gets exalted into the sign of Capricorn. Can you believe that? Mars and Saturn are bitter enemies. But Mars gets exalted into the sign of Capricorn, because all those elements of stubbornness, of the tenacity, of the hardworking nature, of all those disciplined hard work, Mars feels comfortable here. Mars loves these significations and finds it easy for his own manifestations, for his own significations of the bravery, courage, skills, career, going out into the 10th house, compete for their status, work, all these things. He finds the sign of Capricorn compatible with all its significations, and that's why it gets exalted. Mars is moving into the sign of Capricorn on 22nd of March 2020, and from 22nd March it will be around the sign of Capricorn till the 4th or 5th of May 2020. So this transit will be around one and a half months, not more than that. Usually I don't do the transit video for Venus, Mercury or Mars. Usually I tend to do the bigger ones, the Rahu, Saturn, Jupiter. But this transit is amazing. This transit is going to be unique. And how it's going to be unique, we are going to talk about it later in this video. Okay. Mars is going through the Nakhatra of Uttarashadha. During the first few degrees of the Capricorn, Mars gets the Vargottama into the sign of Capricorn in a Nakshatra of Uttarashadha. We have already made a video on Uttarashadha Nakshatra. If you have not watched that video, go and watch that video. Uttarashadha Nakshatra is the nakshatra which has the power to give that invincible victory, to give the ultimate victory. Now, this becomes important. Mars is a warrior. The planet who is into the war is coming into the nakshatra, which is going to give the invincible victory, which is going to give the victory which will last, which is going to give the ultimate victory. Mars loves that. All the padas of the Uttarashadha nakshatras are ruled by either Jupiter or Saturn. The Saturn is enemy of the Mars, but Jupiter is the friend of Mars. So when Mars gets Vargottama in the initial degrees of the Capricorn, we will feel the effect of Uttarashadha nakshatra more. But anyways, this is going to be a short transit, not the bigger one like 6-8 months. It is going to be only for 1.5 months. Now let us talk about the transit of Mars. Mars is going to be exalted into the sign of Capricorn in transit. But let's see what's happening around. Rahu and Ketu are still into the 3 and 9 axis, the axis of Gemini and Sagittarius, into the Ardra and the Mula nakshatra. We have Jupiter conjunct the Ketu in the Mula nakshatra. Now Saturn has moved from Sagittarius on 24th of January, and now Mars is also moving from the Sagittarius to the Capricorn on 22nd of March, and on 30th of March, Jupiter will also come into the sign of Capricorn. So now the focus will be on the Capricorn sign. And in Capricorn sign, we have an exalted Mars sitting with the Rashi Lord Saturn, and also having a Nicha Bhanga due to the conjunction of Mars and Jupiter into the sign of Capricorn. And all this is happening from the 8th house from the Rahu. And if you look at the Rahu and Ketu, all the planets are on the one side of the Rahu. This is peculiar. This is very specific. You have to give attention to this. So all the planets are on the one side of the Rahu and Ketu, and Rahu and Ketu always go retrograde. So these planets are going to touch Rahu Ketu during the transit, except the slower ones. But the Mercury, Sun, Venus are going to go through their periods of conjunct of Rahu when they will go through the Gemini. Okay, during this month, Sun is also getting exalted. Sun will be into the sign of Pisces for some time, and in the latter part of April, it will be into the sign of exaltation. Okay, also we have Venus moving into its own sign, the sign of Taurus. Okay, so we have Venus in its own sign. We have 3 planets into the sign of Capricorn, which are, one is exalted, one its own sign, other one is debilitated but is getting the Nichabhanga due to the association of the exalted planets. So all in all, the sign of Capricorn is loaded. And now we have to see where is your sign of Capricorn. When we'll judge an ascendant and moon, we are going to look with the 3 points. We are going to see where is your sign of Capricorn, where you have these concentrated stelliums, say, or conjunction of these planets. Where is your sign of Leo, where the Lord is getting exalted, and also the ascendant Lord. Okay, on these couple of points we will focus our discussion throughout this video. Okay, but there is more to it than transit. Usually we have also made a video on this, how to judge a transit or how to relate to a transit in a 5 masterful ways. You can go and watch that video as well. A transit, you can judge it from moon, from ascendant. You also have to consider the Ashtak Varga. You also have to consider the planets in your natal chart. And you also have to consider the dasha you are going through. Okay, remember we had a conjunction of 6 planets into the sign of Sagittarius on 26th of December last year. But those who have best dashas going on, they didn't even feel that. So dashas are far more important than transit. And we have made a video about transit versus dashas. You should definitely check that out. I will give the link to these 2 videos into the description section. Okay. So we can analyze the dasha with these 5 points, and also you have to look for your natal chart. Where are the planets placed in? Like we have 3 planets going through the sign of Capricorn. What if you have moon in Capricorn? So all these planets are going over your moon. What if you have Venus into the sign of Capricorn and these 3 planets are going over it? What if your ascendant is Capricorn and these planets it has different meanings to it? What lords are these planets? And you can go on into the depth of it. But don't judge and come to the conclusion with any of the dashas. I always recommend to see what's happening in the horoscope and judge it on the background of dashas. More than transit, focus on dashas. Transit does impact you, but dasha is your base. Dasha will give you the impact you will have for that time period. Suppose you're going through the Saturn Mahadasha. So Saturn is going to rule you. So the Jupiter transit or the Mars transit will have its effect, but the mother trend will be of the Saturnian impact. It will have the huge impact of Saturn, and under that you will have all these transits. Okay, if you have great Raj Yogas activated in your chart, you won't even feel the Sadhisati. You won't even feel the transit. So you have to thoroughly analyze your chart before jumping to the conclusion. All these interpretations we are going to discuss in this video are based on the generic qualities of the planets. You all are going to have a different experience because you all have different horoscopes, specific horoscopes, right? And that is going to make the difference. We all are going through different dashas, and now that is going to change the whole dynamic for us. So definitely listen to all your moon sign and the ascendant sign interpretations, but more than that, dashas are important. Always remember. Let's get started with Aries. Aries, if you have Aries moon or Aries ascendant, the sign of Capricorn is coming into the 10th house. So the 9th lord is coming into the 10th house, and the ascendant lord is getting exalted into the 10th house. Ascendant lord Mars is also the 8th lord. Now 8th lord and ascendant lord conjunct the 9th lord into the 10th house. So what it means is Mars loves to be in the 10th house. So now he is going to bring in the changes in your career. So there may be an sudden change in your career, sudden change in the responsibility, but all that for your highest good and greatest growth. Because during the last few days of this transit, when sun gets exalted, it's the fifth lord getting exalted into the Aries sign, into the first house in your ascendant. So your dharma is going to get activated during this time and is going to help you in your career. Okay, we have already talked about the Saturn is also there, and Jupiter is also coming in here. Okay, next is Taurus ascendant. For Taurus ascendant, Mars rules the 12th house and the 7th house and is into the 9th house. So the 12th house is the house of loss and 7th house is the house of the marriage, and 9th house is the house of your ideologies, about the things which you believe in, about the higher ideals, about the optimism, about your virtues, about your gurus, about your parents. 9th house is also the house of your parents. Mars is also aspecting the 12th house of the horoscope, which is the house of loss. But you will, make charity, because 9th house is the house of the religious activities as well, or the pilgrimages, and 12th house is the house of losses. So you might spend money, energy on the pilgrimages, on the long distance travel to the pilgrimages, or any spiritual camps, or anything related to the spirituality. You might spend money. And now the 7th lord is going into the 9th house and it conjuncts the 11th lord and the 8th lord. So there is a lot of things going on, but wherever there is an 8th house, there is the element of sudden events. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. Gemini. For Gemini, these conjunction is happening into the sign of Capricorn, into the 8th house of the horoscope. 8th house is bad. 8th house is the house of death. No, it doesn't work like that always. But yes, you have to take care of your health, because where is the planet, where are the Rashis ruled by Mars? Mars rules the 11th house as well as the 8th house. Mars rules 11th house as well as the 6th house for Gemini ascendant. And the Lord of the 6th house is coming into the 8th house in the sign of Capricorn, getting exalted. So it creates Viparit Rajyog. But you have to be careful with respect to your health, because Mars is all about blood. Do you remember we talked about Mars? Mars also signifies the blood. Okay, so you have to be careful with that. You also have to be careful while driving the vehicles, because 8th house is also about the accidents. Okay, so you have to be careful. And for Gemini, 10th lord is Jupiter coming into the 8th house, conjunct the 11th house. So you will have gains in your career. This conjunction is happening into the 8th house for Gemini ascendant, and 8th house is 11th from the 10th house. So you will experience gains in your workplace. You will have gains in your workplace. Cancer. For Cancer moon, Cancer ascendant, this conjunction is happening into the sign of Capricorn in the 7th house. So for Cancer, Mars is a great planet, because Mars rules the 10th house as well as the 5th house. So when a planet rules the one trine house and one Kendra house, it does great for that ascendant. Okay, so that the ruler of the 10th and the 5th is exalted into the 7th house. So the person with the Cancer ascendant, Cancer moon will experience the rise in their career, because remember, 7th house is not only the house of marriage. 7th house is a crucial house. 7th house is 10th from the 10th. So it is the ultimate root house for the career. 12th house is also the house of foreign travels. 7th house is also the house of endings. So for Cancer ascendant, there will be a rise in the career because the planet of the 10th house ruling planet is going exalted into the ultimate 10th house. And during the last few days of the April, exalted sun will come into the 10th house as well. So now this is going to elevate the career even more. You will get the recognition for what you do because Mars is also aspecting the 10th house with the 4th aspect, is also aspecting the 1st house, is also aspecting the 2nd house. Now things will be recognized. You will be recognized in your sphere of influence. People will respect you for what you do. Leo sign. For Leo as well, Mars rules the 4th house and the 9th house. And it is into the sign of Capricorn in the 6th house. Whenever we have a planet Mars into the 6th house, 6th house is the house of arguments, is the house of enemies, is the house of delays, is also the house of dates. For enemies, Mars can thrash your enemies. Like Mars will take care of the enemies. You will conquer the enemies. You also happen to have Saturn in the 6th house. Saturn in the 6th house does great job because from the 6th house Saturn aspects the 8th house, 12th house, 3rd house, all the malefic house and delayed. So it does great job there. And we have exalted Mars here, which is aspecting the Bhagyasthan, aspecting the 12th house and is aspecting the ascendant. So during this transit for the Leo ascendant, person will have to be careful with respect to the health because the significator of the blood is coming into the sign of, into the house of the disease. So you have to be careful with that respect. You also have to be careful with the arguments. You should not indulge into any unnecessary arguments, and you have to pay your bills on time. You don't have to keep any loans because those might be the issue for Leo ascendant, Leo sign people. Virgo sign, Virgo moon. For Virgo ascendant, Mars rules the 3rd house and the 8th house and goes into the 4th house of the horoscope. Not 4th house, goes into the 5th house of the horoscope. 5th house is the house of your Purva Punya. Your 5th house is one of the Dharma Trikona houses. Yourself gets matured into the 5th house and goes even higher into the 9th. So in the 5th house, you guys have 3 planets. You have Jupiter, you have Saturn, and you have Mars. And now this conjunction is aspecting your 11th house. 11th house is ruled by Moon, which is the most fluctuating planet. Moon moves faster than anybody else. Moon changes the sign in 2.5 days. So your gains will fluctuate. But this Mars and these 2 planets will help you to stabilize those gains. Mars is also aspecting the 8th house and the 11th house and the 12th house. So you have to be careful while driving. And you have to be careful while spending as well because Mars is aspecting the 12th and the 8th house. And for you, the sign of Leo is into the 12th sign, into the 12th house and is getting exalted into the 8th house. When the 12th Lord goes into the 8th house, I feel this is by far the most effective and the best Viparit Raj Yoga. More than any other combination, I feel that the 12th Lord into the 8th house is the best Viparit Raj Yoga one can have. And now you're having that. The 12th Lord is going into the 8th house. So you might get an initiation or you might get an inclination towards the occult, because all those two mystical houses, 8th house and the 12th house, both are mystical houses, now are getting energized, now getting the activation by the energy of Mars. Okay, and Mars is ruling the 8th house and the 3rd house, and is aspecting 8th house and the 12th house. So most definitely you will have inclination towards these houses. Okay, Mars is ruling the 3rd house. When the 3rd lord goes into the 5th house, 3rd lord is the lord of effort. So you will have to put in effort for your relationship. 5th house is the house of relationship. Now you have to, this Mars will make you work towards your relationship, because 3rd house is the house of self effort, goes into the 5th house of your love and romance. It is also the house of your intelligence. It is also the house of your children. But more than that, it is the house of creativity and the past life karma, or the prarabdha. And you have these 3 planets sitting in there. Libra. For Libra, Mars rules the 2nd house and the 7th house. Both are the Maraka houses, and Saturn is placed into the 4th house. The 2nd lord goes into the 4th house, and 8th lord goes into the 4th house. 8th lord is the house of, 8th lord is a hidden house, is a house under the ground, and 4th house is also the house of the private nature. Okay, so Mars feels uncomfortable here. Mars doesn't like here. Mars likes in the 10th house, where he can, simply fight, can have a battle and win and show his strength and be comfortable. But in the 4th house, he feels helpless. But Saturn is going to stabilize this Mars, and Jupiter coming in here is going to bring in that Neech Bhangaraj Yoga. So for Libra people, you have to work on your 4th house. And 4th house is your literal house, the home environment you are in, and also about your emotional strength and your mother. So if you have anything pending in this area, Saturn will make you work anyways, and those areas are getting energized and activated by Mars. So you will find the restructuring of your home environment. You might redevelop your home. You might, change some arrangements, but these are not just a change in arrangement. You will change something foundational change, I would say, like try to feel like a Saturn in a Capricorn type change. So you can expect that in your home environment. 4th house is also the house of your mother, so you have to be careful with her health as well. Scorpio. For Scorpio, Mars rules the 1st house and the 6th house, and goes into the 3rd house. 3rd house is the house of self-effort. When the 1st lord goes into the 3rd house, it makes a person well-directed, self-motivated, and a hard-working person. And when the 1st lord is Mars, all these qualities are elevated. And when this Mars is exalted, it gets elevated even more. And when this Mars is with the Saturn, +1. And when this Saturn is into the sign of Capricorn, +1. So this Mars loves to be in the 3rd house. 3rd house is the house which can make the difference. 3rd house is also the house of your siblings. So you might have an interaction with your siblings. If you have anything pending with your siblings, those karma might come up during this time, because you have 3 planets in there. 3rd house is also the Bhavat Bhavam for the 2nd house. 3rd house is 2nd to the 2nd. So you might have to spend money on the 3rd house things, on your hobbies as well. Your Mars is aspecting the 6th house, 9th house, and the 10th house. So you will work towards your career. You will work fiercely towards your career for your self growth. Sagittarius. For Sagittarius, Mars rules the 8th house, the 12th house where Scorpio is in, and the 5th house. The 5th lord and the 12th lord goes into the 2nd house. 2nd house is the house of resources, things which you value, about the tangible things. And when we have Mars into the 2nd house, first thing, by the way, 2nd house is also the house of your speech. So you have to be careful with the words you use. You have to be careful with this, because the involvement of the 12th lord into the 2nd house and the 5th lord into the 2nd house, you have to be careful with the words you use. But it is getting exalted, so you will expect the great results with respect to any foreign sources, any opportunity to earn through the foreign sources as well for Sagittarius ascendant. Capricorn ascendant. For Capricorn ascendant, all the drama is happening in their Lagna. And more so, Rahu is into the 6th house for them. And Ketu is into the 12th house for them. So now they have three major planets, Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars into their ascendant. Ascendant is one of the Kendra houses as well as the trine house. First house is the only house which is trine as well as Kendra. And now we have three planets coming in here. Mars rules the 11th house and the 4th house. 11th house of the Scorpio, and then the 4th house is ruled by Mars by Aries and is coming into the ascendant. So during this time, you will have gains from the 4th house things, like you might sell your property, because Mars is also the planet of real estate and land and building. Okay, and when we have Mars transiting over your ascendant, you will feel energy. You will feel that energy, and when this lordship is 11th and 4th, you will feel this energy even more, because now it is, allowing you to work for your self gain. Your ascendant is getting gains. The lord of gains is coming into the sign of ascendant. So the gains are coming in ascendant. So whatever you will do during this time, you are going to get labha. So try and do something which your future self will thank you for. Go and create something. Go and do something with your body. Do something with yourself. Do yoga. Try starting working out. Go to the gym. Or do something with the fitness. And you will have gains. The sign of Aquarius moon, Aquarius Lagna. For Aquarius, all this sign of Capricorn is into the 12th house. 12th house is the house of isolation. Isolation, more than isolation, 12th house is also the house of vision. 12th house is also the house of planning. Whenever we have Saturn going through our 12th sign, 12th house, we are going through the Sadesati. And what we do during the Sadesati, we plan for the next 27.5 years, what we are going to do, what we are up to, what we are supposed to do. This also make you travel. But now you have Jupiter and Saturn into the 12th sign, and now you will feel stuck here. Jupiter is also 12th, Saturn is also 12th, Mars is also 12th. So during this 1.5 month, you will feel like nothing is happening for you. You will feel like you're stuck into these houses. But this is just a matter of 1.5 month. Post that, it will make you travel. It will make you do things. when the Jupiter will come back again in the 11th house after 3 months, you will have some gains, but Saturn is going to be there for 2.5 years, and Mars and Jupiter will come and go, and Jupiter will come back again, and then it will move. But yes, all in all, you will feel stuck more than anything else, and you will have the 7th lord exalted into the 3rd house. You have the sign of Leo into the 7th house and is exalted into the 3rd house of the horoscope. So you also have to invest into your siblings and also with your partner. You have to consider your partner as well, because Mars is also aspecting the 3rd house with its 4th aspect. Lot of things happening. I'm just trying to get a grasp of it. Pisces moon, Pisces ascendant. Pisces, the sign of Capricorn, comes into the 11th house. Now all the drama is into the 11th house of gains. 11th house is the house which is the Upachaya house, which is the house which grows with time. And now we have a planet like Saturn, which loves the slow moving progress, which loves to work every single day, to reach somewhere, to grow, to make progress, is energized by the Mars. And Mars is a great planet for Pisces ascendant because it rules the 2nd house and also the 9th house of Bhagya. And both these houses are getting exalted into the 11th house. So for this 1.5 months, you will have ample opportunities to earn money, to travel. Okay, you will experience these two effects for Pisces moon, Pisces ascendant. And this is aspecting the 4th house. It is aspecting the 2nd house with the 4th aspect. So the 2nd lord Mars is exalted into the 11th house. 9th lord is also exalted into the 11th house and is aspecting the 2nd house, the 5th house and the 6th house. Okay. So yes, when these aspects the 2nd house of speech, you have to be careful with words, and also you have to be careful with your spendings, because now you're going to get money because 2nd lord is exalted. Now it's how you invest it. 5th house is also the house of speculation or investment. So if you can invest into some valuable things, into the things which are worth investing, you are surely going to get the labha. So yes, this was Mars transits into the sign of Capricorn, March 2020. As much as I could hold grasp and share with you guys. What to watch next? If you're new to my channel, just go to my YouTube channel and start your journey with how to get started into Vedic astrology, or how to get how to know more about relationships, or the best of Pramanic astrology, or ascendants, Rashi, planets through houses, any of these playlists. Or you can go to the playlist and start exploring the fascinating world of Vedic astrology. If you have any question, add me on Instagram at Pramanic Astrology. If you have any question regarding this video, you can put that into the comment section. I read all the comments and I try to reply to almost all the comments. And if you want to know more about it, or if you want to have more content, please join me on my email list. Link is into the description section. I'm waiting for you there for absolute free content on your email. Sending you tons of positive energy, sending you high vibrations. See you in the next videos. Love and peace.